I mean, today's been incredible. I just want to thank all the speakers, and it's just been such an amazing day. And, if you think that your socks had been knocked off already, there's one more amazing opportunity that we have, and that is to sit under the teaching of Brent Gove. So I'm going to do an introduction to Brent because it's important to me that you understand who Brent is, and then I want to ask him to come up. So Brent actually followed the example of his parents coming into real estate. Both of his parents are real estate agents, and he became an estate agent in 1996. And I think he joined Remax at the time, so he was with Remax in the early years. He actually still has a real estate team to this day, and that real estate team operates in California. So in the last 27 years of being in the real estate industry, listen to this, Brent has sold 5,000 homes. That is, I did the maths this morning, that's 185 homes a year for 27 years. That is quite something. So his first 8 years were with Remax. In his time at Remax, he became the 11th highest selling Remax agent in the world. In 2008, he actually was the number one selling agent, not Remax, the number one selling agent in the state of California. Now, California has 10,000 estate agents. He was number one. So, I mean, this guy knows what he's doing. In 2008, remember the global economic crisis, things were kind of shaking up. Brent took the opportunity to take a risk, take a new journey in life. He joined a company called Keller Williams. Loved his time at Keller Williams, as he says. In that time, he became team leader of the number one Keller Williams franchise in the world, together with a guy called Don Yoakum. You're seeing a trend here. Wherever he goes, he succeeds. Now, he'll tell you there's been years of struggle and hardship and lying on his face before God. He'll tell you, and that's true. There's no success without struggle. But you follow that man's journey. Wherever he goes, he transforms the organization that he joins. In fact, I've heard Gene say before, when Brent Gove joined EXP, I think it was to Glenn Sanford you said this. You said, our company just changed today. That's a typical Gene statement. Prescient. You can see the future. He said, our company just changed today. Brent Gove just joined EXP. So that happened in 2016. Brent joined EXP. He is now the largest revenue share earner in the entire company of 90,000 agents. He's got over 30,000 agents in his organization, business partners of his in his organization. It's quite phenomenal. The last word that I want to say about Brent before he comes up is that he's a man of deep and committed faith, which I've got to be honest with you was an important factor in my joining EXP. I want to know the people that I'm in business with, I share my most deeply held convictions in life with. And when I met Gene, when I met Brent, I knew these are men that I can walk a journey with. And I'm very grateful to the partnership that we've entered, Jen. So thank you. You're going to see that Brent is just an American Rory Dyer. He loves people. He's got an enormous personality, but he's got an even bigger heart. So Brent, we thank you so much for blessing us. And I want to welcome you up onto the stage. Give him a round of applause. All right. How you guys doing? Woo! Great to be here. You guys are awesome. Thank you. You guys have been way too gracious to us. I'll tell you a funny story. Last year, I ran up on the stage. I kind of do that. My foot hit the top stair, and I Pete roasted to the platform. No joke. I jumped up and acted like it was part of the plan. They're like, did you do that on purpose? I'm like, of course, you don't have to be perfect. That was hilarious. Well, man, it is so great to be here. You guys have been so gracious to us. You've been so kind. You've taken us to the vineyards. You've taken us golfing. We've gone to Table Mountain. Thank you, Mary. We disappeared into the cloud with the tram. That was awesome. We froze to death up there. Awesome.
Found the coffee, bought jackets, had a great time. But we are having the time of our lives. So we are so honored to be here with you. We love you guys. You two, let's hear it for these two right here. Yeah, they're very special. Amazing. Jean, Susan, my wife, Kathy, we are the four amigos. We travel the world together. We're doing a Danube River cruise with 75 buddies next week after we get done with safari. It's just, life is good. Like, oh, good for you. I'm so glad you just fly around the world. You don't have a care in the world. Not quite the case. We have 8 children, all boys, except for 4 girls. And let me tell you, man, it's a wild ride. But I think back in my life. Does anybody know, like, names mean something? The significance of a name like Alexander the Great, right? And so there's different names. Do you guys know what Brent means in Gaelic? Uphill struggle. Thanks, Mom and Dad. Let's name our son Uphill Struggle. Truly, anybody feel like your life has been an uphill struggle? And thank you for the kind introduction and everything there that he said. But the truth was, my first 6 months in real estate, I sold 3 homes. I was not rookie of the month, rookie of the year. I wasn't rookie of anything. I was struggling. Anybody relate? So here's the key to your success. I want you to write this down. You have to write this down. I'm going to give you one word. And that word is struggle. Listen to me. You guys over here, we all struggle. The choice is, do you embrace it? Do you lean into it? Do you harness it like wind in your sails? I love this saying, it's not the force of the gale, but the set of your sail that determines your direction in life. Some of you have financial storms right now. You literally have barely enough money for gas in your car to get home. You didn't eat at the break because you didn't have money to buy food. How do I know? That was me. I came to these events and ate granola bars. Really? Well, that was a long time ago. And so here's the deal. I've slept in my car at events like this. I wouldn't be surprised if one of you slept in your car last night. I've slept in my car in Monterey, California. It is cold. At 3 o'clock in the morning, I was shivering. I was freezing to death. But I was there. Part of life is showing up. Part of life is being willing to go through the struggle, the flames, the smoke of battle, the fire. Man, everybody struggles. You think people, they struggle. I guarantee you they have. You look at it, it all looks so good. So I want to just share with you my story. I'm going to be brief and then bring it into EXP. But it was true about, well, I'll tell you this. My parents were 55-year real estate brokers. I'm second generation. My kids are third generation. I didn't even think about real estate as a career. They were at my rugby games. They were at my Little League, my football, my soccer, my ping pong. I mean, whatever it was, as my parents were in the game, I didn't have a bad feeling about real estate. I thought it was great. But when you go to the career counselor in high school and they say, what do you want to do for a living? They show you accountant, being a physician, being an engineer, going into business, wearing a suit and tie. None of it sounded good, right? And you have to declare you're a major. Do they use that terminology here? Like your emphasis of study? And they're like, but be very careful. Be very careful what you choose. And you're like, well, why? Because you're going to study it for 4 years, and then you're going to do it the rest of your life. It sounded like a prison sentence. It did not sound good to me, so I was sweating bullets. What do I want to do? Do I want to be an accountant? Do I want to work at a bank? Do I want to be a teacher? Do I want to be a scientist? What is it I want to do? And I'm looking at all the choices, and I spent 2 years trying to I couldn't figure it out. Finally, I figured it out. They're like, come on, what do you love? What are you passionate about? I figured it out. At 18, you ready? Free time. And so I picked a career that gave me maximum free time. Does this make sense? I went on to study to become a teacher. Because in the U.S., you get June, July, and August off, so I thought. And so people are like, do you love kids? Yeah, I like kids. But I like houseboating. I like water skiing. I like camping. I like going to cabins. I like going to beach houses. And if you like free time, so that's why I chose that. And Got a degree in history, just memorizing some dates. I love world history, love U.S. history. It's just fascinating to me. I actually I read all the historical things. Very interesting. And so I ended up getting into sales in college. He said I was the number one this. I was a dishwasher. I was the number one dishwasher. Just kidding. But my dad gave me Zig Ziglar tapes and Tony Robbins and Og Mandino and Dale Carnegie tapes at 19. And all my other friends were chasing girls and drinking. And I actually found my faith. I became a Christian. I found the Lord. I was raised in the church, but I just was like, I didn't have a relationship with Jesus Christ. And so I found the Lord at 19. It radically touched my life. I mean, I was like a different guy. God took away my ability to drink. I literally could not drink. And I went to a place called Chico State. Any of you have ever heard of it? In the 1980s, early 80s, it was voted the number one party school in the United States. That's why I chose it. And I go, I'm going to have a great time, go off to college. I ended up getting into sales. I ended up doing really well in sales. Can you believe it? I'm outgoing. I'm motivated. I know how to work hard. And I did that till I was 29, until things went wrong. And I remember God closes one door and opens another. I went bankrupt at 29. And it was not fun to stand in front of a judge in a superior court in California and to say, I'm just busted. They wipe out all your debts and you have nothing. Do you remember that, babe? Yes, you do. She was right there with me. But you know what? He closes one door. It's painful. But then I got into real estate at 30. He opens another. I had to go, I need to do something different with my life. Right now, God's closing a door in some of your lives. Maybe a relationship, and maybe residential real estate. You're going into commercial real estate. I don't know what it is. In 2009, we were suffering, actually. You were nice. Oh, Brent was bold and courageous again. We were suffering. By 2005, I was selling, on my way to selling 600 homes a year. That'd be nice a month, right? And their overhead was $128,000 a month. And by 2009, I was just hurting, you know? And I went to Keller Williams because I'm like, I've got to do something different. And that's when people make a change. And I went to Keller Williams. And so God, the pain of that door closing on our economic prosperity, again, brought me to my knees. It humbles a good place. It says in the Bible, God resists the proud and he lifts up the humble. And my pastor always said this, never trust a man who doesn't walk with a limp. And during that time, Kathy and I have been married 19 years. It was the first time we really had a big speed bump in our marriage. I didn't live at home for 8 months. And 8 months later, Kathy finally figured things out. No, kidding. So, right? She always tells me, with me, without me. With me, without me. And she's right. Without her, I'm here. And so I learned a lot. We went to marriage counseling week after week after week, month after month after month. And it was not fun. Oh, was it nice? No. Dr. Scott. He's got his Dr. Hampy story. I played rugby. I brought rugby to the West Coast in 1983. I played rugby in college. I was a strapping, young, muscular. I'd sit there and listen to Dr. Scott say things to me that I did not want to hear. Like, you have to be present. I'm like, that's just a weird thing to say to somebody. And I didn't like him. Most of the time, I just sat there, and we were on the second floor of a glass building. I used to dream about tackling him through the window. I don't think that's a problem. You know, I'm just going to stick him and run out the window and just pile drive him into the sidewalk. I mean, that's usually what I thought. But I did learn from him painfully 8 months later. And then I finally was able to learn and grow because I leaned in to the fire. I embraced the struggle. I'm like, what is it I need to learn about me and my marriage to be a better husband to Kathy and a better dad to my kids? And through the pain of that, I could tell you this, I wouldn't have wished that 8 months on my worst enemy. It was the most pain I've ever felt in my life. I couldn't sleep. I lived in a friend's home. They moved one of their kids out of a bedroom. I moved in. 3 o'clock in the morning, I'd just get up and walk around the neighborhood. Couldn't breathe, sucked the air right out of the room. Painful. But I'm telling you this, I wouldn't change it. I never cried so much in my life. Cried every single day. I got 2 years later, after building the #1 franchise at Keller Williams, I got fired. Never been fired in my life. But I would go into my corner office and just cry because my family was imploding. We went to the 1 yard line, like this was divorce, and my feet were right over the edge. Everybody that knew us, including my pastor, said, I don't think they're gonna make it. But I would not quit. And I kept leaning into it. I'd beg people, what is it? What do I need to know? And I'm telling you today, looking back, I'm so grateful for that painful period of my life, because today our marriage is much better. It's not there. We still struggle and grow, but man, it's exciting. I would not have described my marriage as exciting and beautiful and something I look forward to every day. I'm like, it's good. It's good. She's great. It's good. I'm happy. You know, that was how I would have described it first 19 years. Now it's exciting. Now it's not just because we have money. It was exciting before we had the money, right? You with me? And so it's been powerful, but God closes one door and opens another in your life. Maybe you've had a failed business, bankruptcy, I don't know. But I did 13 years at RE/MAX. I did 9 years at Keller Williams. And I always tell everyone I liked RE/MAX. I loved Keller Williams. I mean, I'm like, if you're not at Keller Williams, you don't get it. I felt empathy and pity for anyone not at Keller Williams. Like, you just don't get it. The masterminding and the training and the education. I will retire here. I will never leave here. But when they fired me in 2011, which I don't disagree with them doing because I was just so devastated and checked out, they're like, we're going a new direction. Thank God, because I know it would have gone deeper and deeper and deeper down that Keller Williams rabbit hole. And when I saw EXP, after being there for 9 years, I looked at that model and I was gone in 2 weeks. We're selling hundreds of homes a year, moved in 2 weeks. Moved in 2 weeks. And so when I saw the model, I thought, this might work. And they said, hey, we have a big event just like this room, exactly like this room. I'm going to show you a picture of it in a moment. All of EXP looked exactly like this room. They said, you need to come. It's in Texas. It was, I don't know, a couple thousand miles away. I'm like, sure, when is it? I like going to real estate events. I go to 2 or 3 a year. They go, it's next week. I'm like, well, I can't make it. It's too short a notice. And so, but I ended up buying 3 round-trip tickets. I brought 2 buddies of mine, and we went and interrogated all of you. We met the state broker, Andrew Thompson, so to speak, for Texas and Colorado. We met you. We're like, do you really get stock awards? Do they really give you a revenue share? Do you get paid on time? Do they bounce your commission checks? Are you really happy? What don't you like? And we interrogated people for 3 days. We interrogated Gene and Susan. We sat at their table. And they'll tell you a story about that sometime. But we came back and we just moved. And here was my big vision. Here was my big, this is what I hope. In fact, the president of RE/MAX, where I had been once the #1 agent in California, says when he heard I left Keller Williams and went to EXP, like it showed up, like boom, Brent Gove. He's like, he called me up. He goes, hey, anywhere, dinner, lunch, my treat, any restaurant, anywhere in town, you owe me. I thought, I was funny. I don't owe you. But he goes, you owe me, man. Come on. I'm like, sure, James. And he was the president of the largest RE/MAX franchise in the world. And RE/MAX Gold in California, like 58 franchise offices. Pretty big little thing. So we're having this beautiful restaurant. He's asking me, why EXP? Why EXP? What's so cool about it, you know? I says, well, they have the stock award system. If you sell homes, you get stock. If you're for agents, you get stock. That's cool. And you get the more you help the company grow, the more ownership you get in the company. I referred 100 people to RE/MAX. I got 3 $10 Starbucks cards, right? Some of my friends sold 40, 50, 60, 70 homes a year. RE/MAX got paid 40, 50, 60, 70 times a year. I got a $10 Starbucks card one time. How about your company? One of my neighbors copied my team building model. 5 years later, he sold 337 homes in 1 year. Mike Pushek. RE/MAX Gold got paid 337 times that year. I didn't get a Starbucks card that time. Think about it. We traded the cow for magic beans. Think about it. So when I saw this, I told him, he says, well, what do you hope to do with this? I says, well, honestly, I've been doing this for a couple decades. Everyone's like, oh, you're an overnight success. I was a 22-year overnight success. Are you with me? So I'm like, well, it's not going as fast for me. Well, I've been working full time for 40 years now, right? And so you may have to pay some dues, but here's the deal. I told him, I said, I think my first year I could tell 10 or 15 agents about EXP. And then I think if they tell some of their friends and they tell some of their friends, there might be 80 to 100 agents in the first year. And I'll make about 80,000 a year US. So multiply that times 18, whatever 80,000 is times 18, it's not bad. I thought, I think I'm gonna do it. He nodded. And then I made a mistake. Not really. But I said, but if the stars align, which I don't believe in astrology at all, but it just came out of your mouth, you say stuff. If the stars align, I mean, if I get lucky, if it all works out beyond my wildest dreams, I hope there's like 200 or 300 at the end of my first year. And I'll make $200,000 a year outside of real estate, chunk down my mortgage. If you're not buying spas, timeshares, boats, depreciating assets, right? If you actually chunk down your mortgage and I was in my 50s now, I go, and to that, he burst out laughing. He's 10 years older than me. I was 51 at the time. He reached forward, put his hand on my shoulder, and said, young man, I have 28 sales managers. You're just you. He says, we don't grow by 200 to 300 net agents in a year. How are you going to grow by 200 or 300 agents in a single year? And he laughed. He wasn't being mean. I wasn't even offended. He thought it was hysterically funny and overly optimistic on my part. I said, look, I said if it all works out. 1 year later, I had 875 agents. That's pretty good, right? Didn't you get challenged that it wouldn't work, right? Somebody, yeah. And so when people challenge you, it's like, get a bag lunch, get in the bushes and watch, baby. I'm going to tear it up. And I didn't know it worked. How'd you know? I didn't. My goal was to tell 10 or 15 year one, have that go to 80 to 100, tell 10 or 15 more year two, add another 80 to 100. At the end of 2 years, have anywhere from 160 to 200 agents, and maybe make 100, 150,000 a year for my retirement. Can you guys relate? At the end of the second year, there was 3,500. At the end of the third year, there was like 5,800. At the end of the fourth year, there was like 8,500. So who wants to know what I did? So I was the first person in the history of the company to sponsor 40. No one had ever done it. Is it hard? No, not at all. It's actually really easy. The problem is people sponsor 10, 15, 20 and stop. And then they put on their management cap and they start managing. But what gave them their group, right, was the sponsoring. If you want a vineyard, you got to plant some vines. If you want an orchard, if you have a peach tree, an orange tree, you have an orange tree. But if you have 40 orange trees, you have an orchard. You have a vine around your property, it's cute, it's decorative. But you put in 40 vines, you got a little mini vineyard on your property. Are you guys with me? And so what I did was every single Friday, because I'm busy with my church, I go to men's Bible study, I lead a men's Bible study, I go to men's camp, I'm a little league coach, I'm a football coach, soccer in the U.S., I'm involved in my kids' lives. Kathy and I go out every Wednesday and Saturday night like clockwork. We go on dates every Wednesday and Saturday night. We do that, end of story. I love that. So great. I spend time with my kids. Like, where do I find the time to do this? I have 6 listing specialists that work for me. I'm just an agent, not a broker. I have 12 buyer specialists. I thought, where am I going to find the time to do this? So what I'm a guy who compartmentalizes. Anybody relate? Like, how will I find the time? So what I did was Friday afternoons from 2 to 5. I've always played golf Friday morning. I have for 25 years. I thought I'd come in, take a shower, come in the afternoon. I'd get a cup of coffee, rearrange stuff on my desk, go through my files, set up a few open houses. I was just never motivated to work on Friday afternoon. So I redeemed that time. And Friday afternoons from 2 to 5 p.m., I started making outbound calls to people I knew. I never called a stranger. It's not how I built my real estate practice. I'm not against cold calling or door knocking. Never did it. I did open houses. And by the way, just a side note, I did open houses on Saturday and Sunday for about 3 or 4 months. From like 9 in the morning till 9 at night, Saturday. Go to church Sunday morning at 9, out at 10:30, putting signs out by 11, done at noon. I'd spend an hour putting out my signs. Do you have open houses here? How many signs do people typically put out for their open house? 5, 6, 7 signs? 10? How many? How many signs? How many? 6? I put out 30 every time. I would get 50 to 100 people to show up to my open houses. Everyone says open houses work, nobody comes. You're putting out 6 signs. Try putting out 30. I know you hate putting the signs out. I did too. I'd spend an hour putting my signs out. Every single road led to my open house. I'd have 52. I've got 50. Why were you so good with people? Because I was swinging the bat 50 to 100 times every Saturday and 50 to 100 times every Sunday. Massive action creates results. You want to succeed? Fail with velocity. Like, get it over with. Here's the deal. The reason you are not where you want to be is because you're worried about your ego. You're worried about, oh, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that gal. I don't want everyone to see. You're being narcissistic right now. The very thought is a narcissistic thought. Here's what I'm the guy who loves, like Roy. I'm the guy who gives. I'm a hugger. You don't like me? What would they think about? Who cares if you were kind and nice? What if that's on them. I love them if they're, trust me. You had someone call you a week or two ago, a telemarketer. Are you thinking about them today? No, they're not thinking about you either, but you're too busy thinking they're thinking about you because you're a narcissist. Stop it. And so here's the deal. Your ego is not your amigo. It's keeping you broke. It's keeping your kids in the public school system. It's keeping you from your dreams and goals because you refuse to risk your ego. You'd rather buy a franchise. Here's $100,000. Give me a Sotheby's. Here's $200,000. Give me a Keller Williams. I don't want to risk this. This hurts being rejected. But here, take hundreds of thousands of rand, millions in rand. Take that so I don't have to risk this. This will set you free. And like, just give me the recipe. If I buy a Century 21, if I buy a Remax, it'll just magically happen for me. I got news for you. The franchise system's broke and it's going downhill. It's like buying a Blockbuster. Do you guys have those here? Did you at one point? Are they here now? Would you buy a record store with vinyl records today? Would you buy a travel agency? Do you have those today, or do you guys get all your travel online? See, the world we know is changing, and it's all going digital and online. Look at Airbnb, look at Amazon, look at Netflix, look at Uber. I mean, how do you take the digital world of digital and apply it to taxi cabs? Do you have Uber here? Yeah, believe it or not, some countries they outlaw them, like, oh, that's it, that's so bad, giving people a chance to work. I remember thinking, I would never Uber. Like, any maniac could say, I'm an Uber driver. Like, if I was a serial killer, I think I'd become an Uber driver. They just, hey, welcome. Like, I'm like, there's no way I'm getting in some guy's car, but we get him in some wild maniac's taxi. But somehow that was safe, because I knew it. And of course, I love Uber today. I remember Airbnb. I'm not going to go Airbnb, go to some stranger's house. I mean, it's one thing when you go to someone you know and love and care about, right? But like, just going to go to someone's house, get in their bed, snuggle up with their pillow, and like, this is just weird. It'll never fly. Till I Airbnb'd one time at Disneyland because we couldn't get a hotel. We rented this 2-story home with a heated pool, and we had the time of our life. I'm like the last guy to embrace change. It's a miracle I'm even here. Like, I don't want to go on safari this weekend. I'm freaked out that the thing is a convertible. I've seen the YouTube videos, and like the leopard. I'm like, I don't want to be touched by a lion. I don't want to. I'm hippos and I'm truly not looking forward to it. Now I'm gonna have a great time if I live. If I live, it's a big question mark. If I live in Pinda, I'm gonna want to come back. I never wanted to go to Mexico. I love Mexico. I will never go to Europe. I like new things. Europe's old things. I went to Europe we went for a month. Time of my life. Anybody slow to adapt change? They switch the MLS over, you're like, no, I know the old system. And then 2 weeks later, you're like, oh, the new system's so much better. Embrace change, struggle. You young people here in the audience, listen to me, 17, 19, 20-year-olds. I see you guys here. I got some young folks here. Fail. Try things. Get out. You old people, fail. The way you succeed is through failure. Failure is a stepping stone to success. Because guess what? You're going somewhere. You may trip and fall and faceplant, but if you just keep being, never quit. Winston Churchill, we heard that from Rory. If you just keep marching, you'll trip, you'll fall, you'll struggle. I mean, I was in Antelope. I remember nobody's coming to the open house. I was putting out 6 signs. I didn't know how to do it. I copied someone who put out 30, and they were killing it. I'm going to put out 30. I remember nobody being there. I'm in the patio. That's where they keep their cats. There's cat hair on the ground. I'm on my knees begging God to send somebody through that roof. Because we just gone bankrupt. I was through the front door, through the roof. Send Santa. But I remember nobody was coming to the front door. I sold 3 homes. I didn't know how to do open houses. And I'm on my knees, which is a great place to start. And I'm begging God to send somebody. And he didn't send anyone. So I'm like, okay, God, you didn't hear me. And I'm like laying on the ground, begging God, God, please. Because my kids were being fed by my neighbor, frozen Wonder Bread sandwiches, peanut butter and jelly, because we didn't have money to buy food. I used their phone to make calls because we moved into Roseville, and they wanted a $700 U.S. security deposit because I'd gone bankrupt. I didn't know you had to give a security deposit. They don't normally do that, but if you're a loser and you've gone bankrupt, they want a security. I didn't have $700. I couldn't make a call. I couldn't feed my kids. I was desperate. Let me tell you right now, I have a gift. God gave it to me. I feel like I've had it my whole life. I've always been desperate. The problem with some of you, you're not desperate. Oh, I'm not talking needy. There's desperate needy, right? Very unattractive. But when you're desperate to make a difference, when you're desperate for a breakthrough, some of you are so desperate right now, you don't even know it. And you got to be honest with yourself. How many of you pray? Do you pray? Yeah, we pray. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Do you pray like you work? Think about one. Do you pray like you work? Do you work hard? Oh, yeah, I work really hard. Do you pray like that? What if you worked like you pray? What if you actually worked the way you pray? Well, I don't pray that much. I'd go bankrupt if I worked like I prayed. But you believe in prayer. Oh, yeah, prayer is great. Prayer is amazing. It's powerful and effective. It says in Proverbs, prayer will shake the heavenlies. Things will move. Miracles will happen. Do you pray like you work? Because if you work like you pray, why aren't you getting the breakthrough? Because you weren't so desperate that you got on your knees before God and asked him for help. No, I got this. God resists the proud. He lifts up the humble. When you get on your knees, it's a magic superpower. It literally says in Proverbs, prayer is powerful and effective. I like those 2 words. I like powerful and I like effective. That means it works. So you praying over your estates, your mandates? Are you praying over your children, your husband, your wife? I mean, pounding the gate, like, are you doing that stuff? It's magic. And so I started calling agents every Friday from 2 to 5. I pray about it. I made a list, 100 names, potential agents, people I'd done business with, people I'd met at the board of realtors, on top producer panels. And I just started calling them. How many you call? 3 to 5. I had 2 to 5. I had 3 hours set aside. It was holy. That, I'm not religious. That time was religious. It was sanctified and set aside. Like, I have a $5 million U.S. listing. Not calling them till after 5 because I know my future. You know what I get paid today for selling 427 homes in 2005? Nothing. You know how many homes you got paid? How many homes did you sell 5 years ago? 50. What do you get paid today for that? Nothing. I knew that if I listed agents along with listing the homes, it would be something amazing. And go ahead. 6 years ago, I listed 25 estates or homes in 5 months, and I also listed 25 agents simultaneously. What do I get paid today from the 25 listings, estate sales mandates? Nothing. What do I get paid from the 25 agents? But it's hard. I get it. It's hard to learn how to become a listing agent, an estate agent. It is hard. It is difficult. But the difference here is you're going to grind at Keller Williams. You're going to grind at Sotheby's. You're going to grind at Century 20 or your independent brokers. You are going to work hard. The difference here is every time you sell your first home, you get stock. When you have a closing, when you cap, you get stock. When you refer agents, you get stock. You're going to slowly but surely squirrel away stock for your future. All 18 of my agents I brought on the Brent Gove team, I think the lowest person has like $50,000. 3 of them have over $1 million US. A bunch of them have 100,000, $250,000, $500,000. They're not going anywhere. You know what we had for 20 years prior to that? Trophies and plaques. I'm going to do a Zoom and call it trophies and plaques. What are those worth today? You know what they told me then? You don't know what they'll be worth in 3 years. Had this guy from Berkshire Hathaway, $16,000 capping stock award. You cap and do 20 sales, you get $16,000 worth of stock. Do you have that award here? Thank heavens. It's a little different in every country, but I got that award. And he says, it's a penny stock. We weren't publicly traded. We weren't debt-free. We had debt. We were worth about 20 million. Today we're worth 2 billion. He goes, when can you sell? I go, not for 3 years. There's 3-year vesting period. It's not 30 years. It's not 13 years. It's 3 years. It's 36 months. Did the last 36 months just fly by? And he goes, what a joke. He goes, that may be worthless. It may not be worth the paper it's printed on. He called me on it. He's from New Jersey. It's a part of the United States where they're like, hey, buddy, bug off. They're real kind of aggressive kind of people. And I said, okay, fine. I go, well, I had to sell 28 homes to earn that. Paid in $16,000, won $16,000 worth of stock. It kind of brought my cost basis down, right? I go, aren't you one of the top agents? He goes, yeah, I sell 48 homes a year at Berkshire Hathaway. I said, what did they give you for that? He goes, well, I get a trophy every year at the recognition dinner. I go, what else? He goes, nothing. I said, I'll take my chances with that piece of paper. I said, you may be right. It may be worth nothing in 3 years. I'll give that to you. I'm really here for the revenue share. The revenue share. They don't keep it. I don't work for Keep It All Real Estate. Have you referred anyone to Berkshire Hathaway? He goes, sure I have. You got any stock? He goes, no. Do you get, every time they sell a home, do you get paid? He goes, no. I said, you know what? I'm here for the revenue share. If the stock's worth something, if it's worth 16 grand in 3 years, good, right? It wasn't worth 16 grand. It was worth over $400,000. Listen to me. In the next 5 years, thank you. In the next 5 years, I believe will be a $10 billion valuation. You tell me, if I said in 5 years we'll go from 20 million to 2 billion, do you know what the mathematical percentage of increase of that is? Or if I said in the next 5 years, we're going to go from 2 billion to 10 billion. You know what that, it's 5x. It's going to happen. We're doing things the real estate world's ever seen, but right now the market's a little tougher. And so we're in that period, but guess what? Agents move when it's tough. We grew like crazy when it was good. It's going to be amazing the next 12 to 24 to 36 months. So what I did was every Friday I would call 3 to 5 agents, sometimes 7, anywhere from 3 to 7, usually 3 to 5. And I would say, hey, meet me next week for coffee. Meet me next week for breakfast. I always did my appointments in the morning because they will blow you off by 11, noon, 1, 2, 3 for business, right? I always met them at 6:30, early. There's nothing happening. Their phone's not ringing. They have peace. Their day's in front of them. They're calm. They can give you their full attention. I always did it in the morning, 6:30, 7, 7:30, 8, maybe 8:30 night place. And they're calm. We met. I'd say, hey, let's put our phones on airplane mode. This is super important. It's going to change your life. And, well, how'd you do it? Willpower, wanting it, being desperate. I need to meet with you. I'm not leaving Sotheby's. I'm not leaving RE/MAX. I go, when they say that, say to me, you're not leaving Century 21. Say it. Good. Stay there for 25 years. Can we just meet and have an honest discussion? Yes. Can you guys do that? They relax. They go, you know what? Sure, because it's you, sure. And I would meet with them, and every single morning, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'd press play on the Model Explain. Steve does a great job. Press play. Don't be the mouthpiece. Let Steve be that. And guess what would happen? They'd watch it. And then some people would say, well, we take our kids to school. I cannot meet with you in the morning. So every Tuesday and Thursday, I had a lunch appointment. So how many times a week am I showing this to people? 6. Times 4 is 24. Times 5 is about 30 times a month. There are 4-week months and 5-week months. I'm showing it to 24 to 30 people a month. 5 are switching every month. In 5 months, I went 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, boom. That was it, game over. 5,000 home sales, it doesn't mean a thing. Like, it makes me not $1. My parents retired after 55 years, the last 25 with Coldwell Banker. The last commission check at 75, my mom got. She's 85 now. That was 10 years ago. My dad was 77. He's 87. They're both alive. I'm blessed to have great parents. They have not earned $1 in a decade. The worst thing you could do for your retirement is be an estate agent. It's the worst thing unless you're investing in real estate and you pay off you do all that. Fortunately, my parents did those things, but not everyone's in that position. So what happened was I enrolled. The other thing is standards. I made sure they were selling at least 10 homes a year or I didn't talk to them. I didn't have time. It's an 80% failure rate with a new agent. So for me, It's like, does the, what's the most inexpensive hotel that's well known in South Africa? Is there an inexpensive hotel? What? Formula One. You guys heard of that place? In the U.S., we call it Motel 6. And they have a famous tagline, we'll leave the porch light on. Do you know why they leave the porch light on? Because you will get mugged going to your room. These are dangerous, seedy hotels in bad parts of town. Is Formula One like that? So do they have a standard? Yes, we provide you a room, a bed and a door and a toilet and a shower and some nasty towels and right? Now you have the Marriott, right? You have the Four Seasons, you have the Westin, you have the Ritz, and all these hotels, they have a Nordstrom's, right? People have a standard of clientele. You should have a standard. I sponsored 25 people who all sold at least 10 homes a year. I didn't have to teach any of them how to use a computer. I didn't have to teach them how to use the MLS. I didn't have to teach them how to write offers. They were there, and they had to be excited about revenue share. I wouldn't even be their sponsor. And guess what? It was like cooking with gas. It was like throwing gas on a fire. And it was game over. The next 5 months can be life. You're going to change people's lives. I'm going to show you some pictures of that right now. So let's get into it. So here's the game changer. This next picture is everything, because you get in the same boat, rowing the same way with your spouse. That is my beautiful wife, Kathy. Everyone go, ah. Isn't she beautiful? That's Santorini, Greece. Last September with Susan and Jean. I should have put a picture of you here, but sorry. I love you guys. You are dear to me, but no picture for you. Yes, yes. But look at her. Isn't she beautiful? We travel the world today, and she's our CFO, Chief Financial Officer. I don't know anything about anything when it comes to finances. She meets with the attorneys. She meets with the CPA. She meets with the accountants. She meets with the bookkeepers. She has her own CFO that reports to her. We have international attorneys. We have Washington, D.C. tax lawyers. We have California attorneys. We have multiple corporations. She runs the whole thing. I know nothing. I don't know, like people are going, where are you going to Europe for 3 weeks? I have no idea. I let her handle the details. And so, honey, I love you. You're amazing. You're the best. So get on the same page with your spouse. Now, this is my fake family. Why do I say this? I call it my Instagram picture. Alyssa, my adopted daughter there, second from on the right there by my son, Ty, we adopted 3 beautiful kids. She goes, let's all get together, and we're tan and white and brown, and we at the sunset. And so we look like the family with no problems whatsoever. We're perfect. We have no issues whatsoever. Who wants to see the real Gove family? Anyone? We're missing 2 of our kids there, which is just classic. So there's the real Gove family. There we are. That's really us. This was during COVID. I got one millennial who still, wearing the doggone mask. Anyways, like forever I have to look at that mask. I'm not upset about it. Now, but there's Nolan, my adopted son, graduating 2 years ago during COVID. Alyssa on the right, Isaac, their older brother, and then so we're all one big happy family now. It's awesome. They're like, it was 110 that grade. They're like, wear hats, sunglasses. They wouldn't let us meet, but on the football field, the rugby field. So it's pretty cool. This is me 6 years ago, EXP meeting Glenn Stanford for the first time. I'm a Keller Williams agent there. And then there was the first ever meeting I attended with EXP. That was everyone in the entire company. If you look across there, you turn your eyes, you look across here, it's the same. From that room spawned 24 countries and 87,000 agents. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you guys will follow this leadership, and they are amazing, because he follows that leadership, and there's no reason why you guys couldn't have 87. Let me tell you something. There's 20 million agents worldwide. There's 208 industrialized nations, because Siri told me that. Okay, I'm not detailed. It might be 205. Who cares? You guys are going to look it up now and go, it's 205. Anyways, but there's about 20 million agents. We have coming up on 90,000. We have like 1%, 2% of the world population. We're just getting started. So we are going to go big. And then there was Jean's room. I'm a guest. I took this picture. I'm a Keller Williams agent. Jean says, we're having a champagne toast in my suite. It was a 1-bedroom hotel room. And I'm there, I'm taking a picture. There they are. There's everyone jammed in. Their energy. You want small rooms jammed. I'm in there going, whoa, this is so amazing. It's so powerful. Look at this group. It was a champagne toast. They're passing out, like the bottom right, Sherry Elliott. She got a little flute of Martinelli apple cider. And for those that want sparkling wine, they had that. But we're doing Rock the Comma party. We're going to have 1,000 agents in Texas. It's a Rock the Comma party. you guys need to throw a Rock the Comma party for this couple because they're going to get to 1,000, and by this year, probably, they're going to do it. Throw a Rock the Comma party. I'm like, what's a Rock the Comma party? I've never been to a Rock the Comma party. So I'm in the room, I'm photographing everyone. There's Rob Flick, and it was awesome. And it was, or did you, by the way, last night, did you get people in your hotel room? Did you gather them? Did you give speeches? Did you recognize people in your room? I always do this. By the way, this is me, when I got back from that event, telling my team, well, you have a big team. That was including the mortgage brokers, the title reps, attorneys, home inspectors, photographers with a 20 millimeter stick up in the air. That's my team, plus all of everyone we could think of that supports us, right? General contractors. And the one on the far left, she was in the Olympics in '96, that's Darcy Stratton. She's talking to everyone there. And I convinced her, she was my #1 agent, actually my #2 agent. I convinced her that we're doing this, and she sold my team on EXP, neutral third party. Hey guys, and they all respected and loved her. I just turned around and snapped this picture real quick. I was still at Keller Williams. And then there's my first meeting I ever did. And that's Chris Okamura, general manager, Berkshire Hathaway. He quit his job the next week. And for some reason, this picture got small, but there's like 9 people in the room. I met at a mortgage company, that's Guild Mortgage. I'm using their conference table, neutral third party. I wasn't in other people's office. I didn't have them come to my office. We always use mortgage companies and title and escrow companies. For you, it would be the attorneys. We use their conference rooms and rock and roll. So that was my first meeting. There's our first day at EXP. I got flowers from one of our vendors. Congratulations. I was excited to snap that little picture. That's my new EXP hub. You should get a small office. That's $950 a month. People get offices. The guy got one across the door from me for $200 a month. It didn't have windows. I have 30 feet of windows across. You'll see the windows next. So they go all the way across, same room. And then there's my team. First day at EXP, we didn't miss a beat. What will it be like when I join EXP? You will not miss a beat. The next morning, that's the next morning, the night before Keller Williams, that morning at EXP. What are we? Look at all the laptops. We're pulling property. We're evaluating homes. We're setting up tours. We did not miss a beat. You will not miss a beat. 8 months later, we broke every sales record we ever set at RE/MAX and Keller Williams at a company no one had ever heard of in Sacramento. You do not do the business you do because of your brand. You do the business you do because of the value you bring people. The more value you bring people, the more you get paid. If you don't like what you're getting paid, check the value you bring them. Look them in the face and say, you need to lower the price. You're going to get buried. They're looking for leadership. Look them in the face if it's the right house and say, if you don't buy this house, I'm buying this house. If you don't buy this house, I'm going to call 3 investors. This is a good deal. They're looking for leadership. They're scared. They're nervous. They want to procrastinate. They do South Africa's favorite pastime, which is what? It's a Spanish word, mañana. Like, let me think about it. I'm nervous. They need leadership. I said, no, I will not let you think about it. We're making the offer today. Real estate agents are pushy. No, they're not. We're just assertive. I said, we're making this offer today. If you wait, what do I do if I wake up tomorrow and don't want it? We just cancel it. At least in the U.S., we can do that. If you write an offer in South Africa and don't want it tomorrow, can you cancel? Okay, don't do that. All right, next thing. All right, now. Poor suckers. I don't know. Well, we got our problems too, but all right. So why is this important? This was a real estate trainer in San Francisco, San Jose Bay Area. He told me no. And I said, okay. He goes, yeah, I know about the stock, the rev share. Gene Frederick called me. No way, not doing it. Gene's a great guy. EXP looks great, but I'm a trainer. RE/MAX will never let me back in their offices. Century 21 will never let me back. I can't do this. I said, I'm shocked. This is one of my favorite people in the world, Rick Jiha. He's Lebanese. They have 1,000-year wars. They're intense people. Anyways, so he'd been doing real estate for 40 years, by the way. He looks pretty good, plays full court basketball. So I said, Rick, I'm a bit surprised by this. So you're telling me you've seen the 5-year plan to make $2.1 million a year, every year, not one time, U.S., 2.1 million U.S., or the next one, and you're not interested? I said it incredulously. He's like, well, no, I never saw that. I go, oh, that explains everything. And I was quiet. He said, well, what's it explain? I go, you don't even know what you're saying no to. No, I'm coming to Concord this Friday night, and I'm going to show you what I'm doing. He's like, okay, come on over. And I showed him the plan. I showed him the 5-year plan to make 2.1 million U.S. You guys have the same ability to do that right here. Steve can talk to you about it, but here's the deal. He goes, I'm in. I said, I want to photograph this moment. He goes, okay. I turn around and snap this picture. Today, Rick has thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of agents in his organization from that night. Take pictures. You notice I have pictures of everything. I'm a picture taker. This picture is beyond significant. This picture is the reason all of you are in this room. None of you would know each other other than maybe in the real estate. Nobody. Rory would not be here. Rory, Dick, Andrew, you guys wouldn't be here if it wasn't for this picture. Well, you guys can't see that one over here. This picture is why we're all in the room. This very photograph. Because the guy in the middle was not in real estate. He was a computer draftsman. He's staring at computer screens 10, 12 hours a day. He's getting migraine headaches from the blue light. He's getting carpal tunnel. He was 58 years old, had no retirement. I've known him for 40 years. I called him up, said, hey, I want to talk to you about a real estate, new model for real estate. He was not interested, not my thing, no thank you. I go, not going to work. You guys have been friends for too long. You're meeting with me. Okay. Some of you are just too nice. I said, no, we've been friends too long. You don't have to do it, but we're going to meet. You guys got to be a little more bossy, right? A little bit of authority. I go, no. We're friends. You're not doing this to me. He's okay. He looked at it. He saw the model explained. It's the one that Steve does. Just like that. And he goes, can I get a license? I go, no one's stopping you. He goes, do you have any idea how many agents I know? I'm like, no. He goes, I know like 20 or 30 of them. Like that's a big number, right? He went and signed up and enrolled. He listed 27 agents. He listed a guy named Barton in Napa, San Francisco, who told a guy named William Campbell up in Canada, who told a guy named Steve Johnstone and Danielle. Right here. You all are here because I was kind of bossy with the guy in the middle. The guy on the right was the Berkshire Hathaway manager who quit his job the very next week, making, $80,000 a year U.S., quit his job, and he came in now. He's got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of agents. In fact, we have guests here today from Johannesburg. They're here, and they're part of his business through Shireen Duncan and Michelle, who are Michelle's South African, and just some incredible people. But those two guys, they were brand new. I said, let's get in the car, let's go to San Francisco, and let's talk to people we know there. And we were driving down there. We were the three amigos. That man is the reason every one of you are in this chair. That guy. He has over 1,000 agents in his organization today. You see, there's our first party, our first social. See, we have a saying about EXP. EXP, making real estate what? Fun again. Are you making it fun? The first thing I did was meet everyone at this Italian restaurant. There's a roaring fire back there. We had nice pasta and Italian food and some nice red wine. We had a good time. And we're creating right there. It's called community. That's my office manager, my operation manager. And he started working for me for $3,000 a month. By the time this picture was, he was making $8,000 a month. That is my beautiful wife. And that's called 2 glasses of wine. So I call this picture 2 glasses of wine. But we were building community, like Kathy and I will have a glass or 2 of wine, if you notice. We're not big drinkers, but we do enjoy it. Prior to our almost divorce, we never drank. And then when we got back together, she said, "You want to have a glass of wine?" I'm like, what? Because I used to be, not an alcoholic, but I used to drink, I'm like, sure. And it's been really good for our marriage. I shouldn't say this, but drinking saved our marriage. Okay, now I'm moving ahead. There's Rick Jiha, and he's starting to make $5,000 a month in rev share. He was very excited. He sent me that picture. That's my buddy. There's his beautiful wife, Casey, and they've got thousands and thousands and thousands a day. Now he makes a ton of money. By the way, this is our first event, on accident event. 4 of us went golfing in Scottsdale. Be like, say, hey, come on down to Cape Town, let's go golfing. And then 4 more people said, hey, can we come? We'll get a foursome together. Then 4 more, then 4 more. In 2 weeks, 88 people showed up. We all just wanted to golf. There was no meeting. We're going to golf. We're going to swim in the pool at this resort. We're going to get massages. We're going to go out to dinner at night. We just want to be around each other and hang out. Our first on-accident event. That is the first event. Today, we do events with thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people showing up with Tony Robbins and all kinds of cool stuff. But that was the on-accident event. There's our events today. Just kidding. I got that off the internet. Oh, come on. You got a dream builder there. Isn't that awesome? We We maybe do the first 2 rows, the bottom and the second one, not the third one. That is an awesome picture. Every time I see it, I get excited. All right. So, by the way, this is where we are. We just got out of the innovator stage. We just hit the early adopter stage. There's the early majority, the late majority, the laggards, the late mass. Your timing is at the bottom of the yellow. That's the hockey stick, baby. You haven't seen a thing yet. We are credible. We are on fire. We have 87,000 recruiters. When I was at RE/MAX, I wasn't trying to recruit anyone. I was successful and people wanted to join, and I said, yeah, call RE/MAX, it's great. I wasn't trying. Here, I'm trying. Here, you're trying. Let's try together, right? You want to go fast? Go alone. You want to go far? Let's go together. I don't know if I could do it. You're sitting there, I don't know if I could do it. Listen to me. I don't know if you could do it either. But if you start putting people in front of this man, I think you can do it. But call me. Well, you're in America. You're not going to help me. Call me. I'll do a Zoom with you. Let me help you bring a RE/MAX agent over. Do you think I can do it? Do you think Gene can do it? Do you think he might help you? No way. No, Gene would totally help you. Did Susan and Kathy do a great job this morning at the women's breakfast? They'll help you. Mary Bailey will help you. You know, James, there's so many amazing people in the Lisna. They will help you. And so that's what we have a war room. I rented a small office, $300 a month. It's all walls, no windows. And we rolled whiteboard. We didn't buy whiteboards. It's like wallpaper whiteboard. And we had a contractor level it and put it across. And we're constantly mapping out our business. We're like NASA. We're like SpaceX, man. We're like Elon Musk, baby. We're mapping out the future. We're going to the moon. Are you going to the moon? Do you have a war room? Are you mapping it out? Guess what it says on my war room? It says 57,000 agents, baby. And guess what? We're ahead of schedule. Look at that. I wrote that a long time ago, 10, 21, 26. We're in 23. I'm going to be 100,000 agents by then. Could you imagine? My goal was to tell 10 or 15 and have 80 to 100 year one. Just go tell 10 or 15. Let me help you. Let Rory help you. He's always telling people about us. Let Stephen help you. Let the other leaders you've seen on this stage, Ferdy will help you. This people, Brad, you're amazing. Glenn, Glyn, never met a Glenn like that. Don't you love him? What's your son's name again? Judah. Oh, here goes the knee. Let's do it. Can we just pray for you real quick? We're going to pray for Judah. Everyone just put a hand towards him. And if you're around and Brad, can you throw a hand on his arm there? It's not too weird. I know you're South Africans, but we are touchy. I'm from California. We touch. That sounded weird. All right. It's Judah, right? Judah, right?
Judah. Yeah,
Judah. Lord, we just thank you for Judah. We lift up his little body to you right now. And we pray for healing to his heart, his mind. Give the doctors wisdom. Holy Spirit, touch Judah right now, his mom, his dad, his family. We pray for a miraculous healing. In Jesus' name, we believe prayer is powerful and effective. And we all agree together. And we ask for a miracle. We pound the gates of heaven. We lay Judah at your feet and say, your will in his life. Give the doctors wisdom beyond wisdom. And we ask for a miracle. In your son's name, in Jesus' name we pray, amen. Sorry, guys. Hopefully that didn't freak anybody out. But, you know, how many of you would want prayer if your child was on the, right? Yeah, no problem. I'm walking up. I'm not jumping up. Did you guys see Steve jump up earlier? He jumped right up from there. I'm like, wow. I go, I'm not doing that. So, do you have your goals mapped out? There's my operations manager, James. We're mapping stuff out. There's another one. We rewrite it. We change the colors. We're like NASA engineers, SpaceX, baby. We're mapping out. We rewrite it, erase it, do this, do that. This is the kind of stuff you have to do. So this is James. This is, by the way, how do I back up one? Hit the red button. There's my database. It's actually over 40,000 agents now in my organization, over about almost 20,000 in my 7 levels. So I have people on level 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, keeps going. That's everything. That plus Jesus was everything right there. I was a Keller Williams agent. I grabbed a yellow notepad. I am Mr. Yellow Notepad. I love yellow notepads. And I turned it sideways, and I made a list of people I thought I was going to talk to about EXP. I was not in EXP. I wrote Jeff and Marcy on the left. They have 5,000 plus agents today. I told Joe and Marguerite, they're coming up on 1,000. I told Ron Mackey, Rich Henriksen, loan officers, They both have huge organizations today. Frank Crandall, Remax Gold agent. Chris Okamura, Berkshire Hathaway. All of them. Cliff Freeman, he has 12,000 agents, number 8 there. Rick Jiha, he has 3,000 or 4,000 agents. I think 4,000, Rick Jiha, number 9. I just started mapping them out. I put the sharpest, most incredible people I knew. I went right for it, man. And I said, we got to talk. And they're like, no, I'm busy. I go, no, we're talking. You don't have to do it, but you got to listen because I'm your friend and I love you. You don't have to do it. I don't want to leave Remax. Stay at Remax for 25 years. You're not allowed to come to EXP. Now, can we just talk? Okay, they relax a little. You're not leaving Coldwell Banker. You're not leaving Keller Williams. You're not leaving Southern Bank. Put that on a bookshelf. You're not leaving. We are just talking. Can we talk? No, I don't know. I go, no, we're going to talk. You were right. We're a little pushy. But that's what a leader does. You don't mamsy-pamsy back. If you know people and you love and care for them, you say, hey, you write them a letter and saying you're 5 years away from blowing up your life. That's iron sharpens iron. You don't wink and look the other way. I was not going to look the other way. This is going to change people's life. And then I make the appointment. I'm like, don't blow me off. Don't run off for $1 million listing. This is so much more valuable. By the way, I'm going to be done here in just a little bit. I'm going to give you something 1 million times more valuable than that $6 million rand you saw, that gold chest there. 1 million times more valuable. You're about to get it. But so this is James's brain. My brain, James's brain. James's brain, my brain. Do you notice the difference between our brains? Mine's beautiful. Now, that's how he thinks. He's an Excel spreadsheet. Do you have an assistant? He prefers the term operation manager. He will never get me a cup of coffee. We're great friends for 25 years. He's don't ever ask me to get you coffee. I get him coffee because I don't have a chip on my shoulder. Like, you want cream and sugar in your coffee? Got him coffee 100 times. He will not get me coffee. He's got to think about it. Anyways, but he helped me. Now, one thing I want you to see, look at the red circle. At the end of my first 100 days, 110 days, I had 148 agents. But drop down below. That's January 31st, 2017. Go down to January 31st, 2018. That 148 became 1,100. Go to March 2017, second red circle over at the top. Go down to March 2018, 1 year later, 1,600. Go down to August 2017, 531. Go down to August 2018, 1 year later, 3,200. This is not about you. That's James and I. He always says he's the white dog. Trust me, James is the black dog. This is another picture. His wife sent this to us. This is a picture of our relationship. Who do you think James is in this picture? He always says, I'm the white dog. Everyone knows him. Everyone goes, James, you're the husky. I create a mess. Look at him. He's very annoyed by me. But we all need a James. Now, there's Kathy and I are starting our new life together in Puerto Rico. January 1st, 2.5 years ago. That's our entire life. That's what we moved to Puerto Rico with. That's everything. Golf, 2 sets of golf clubs, and then our clubs and all that. It was so much fun. This is where we live. We live on this beach. We walk to that point almost every morning. It's just stunning. Come visit us sometime. Come out and see us. We'll show you around. That's where Gene and Susan live, not in that exact house, but on these cliffs. They overlook the harbor. It's just a beautiful place. I just want to show you a few. That is the harbor. That restaurant's great. I walk to this point all the time. It's stunning. This is where we live. Just thought we'd show you a few cool pictures. You like the scuba? We got it too. That's the rainforest. We have the only rainforest in North America, just 40 minutes away from us. It's amazing. And this is what we like to do. This is the Dominican Republic. We are just like monkeys having the best time. By the way, you hit across the ocean, all the way across there. It's a fun shot there. But we're just having the time of our life. That's Dorado. It's a Ritz-Carlton Reserve. There's only 5 in the world. And so we go there every month, and we spend the weekend there just having the time of our life. It's just truly spectacular. And this is one of my favorite shots of Kathy and I in Puerto Rico. We're in San Juan. The fort's to our right. The sun's setting. And I can't believe I have shoes on. I don't think I've ever worn shoes. I'm shocked that I have shoes on. But it's been a wild life. I think that's everything I just wanted to show you. Yeah, that's enough. Put my thing up there. So we're here. So as I wrap up, I just want to say a couple things to you. Number one, proximity is power. Where are you going? Like you came here, you just got power. How many agree you got some power being here? And who will you hang out with? Number 2, this is the smallest room you'll ever attend for EXP South Africa. Look around, take some pictures. It'll never be this small again. They said stuff like this, and you know what it said? It just got bigger and bigger and bigger. It was amazing. Number 3, there are 3 rules in life. Number 1, life isn't fair. Bad things happen to good people. Number 2, you're entitled to nothing. You're not entitled to medical care. You're not entitled to an education. If you think you're entitled to something, you're in big trouble. And number 3, nobody, and I mean nobody's coming to rescue you. You better go caveman. You better go cavewoman. You better bootstrap it. You better struggle, fight, lean into it. Get it over with. You can get it over with so fast. I did open houses Saturday, Sunday for 3 or 4 months. You know what I had at the end of that? I had about 70 clients. I had so many clients I could only do them on Sundays. And I'd show property at 9, 11, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and write offers at 10, 11, midnight, 1 in the morning. Well, that's kind of extreme. Well, I was free Monday through Friday. I snow skied, I water skied. I go to the apple farm, the pumpkin farm. I go to the science project. I would coach multiple soccer teams the same season, Little League. I had all the time in the world Monday through Friday. I was a weekend warrior for real estate. So it's up to you. You build this business hard, it's easy. It's actually easy. You build it easy, it's the hardest thing you ever done in your life. Take massive action. So what do? If life isn't fair, you're entitled to nothing, no one's coming to save you, what do? You take massive action. Find a lead generation and you master it. If you're a door knock 50 homes a day, 250 a week, 1,000 a month, and be relentless. If you're a caller, call people, 10 people a day, 100 people every 10 days, 300 people a month, call 20 a day. That's 600 people a month. Swing the bat, swing the bat, swing the bat. You swing the bat once or twice a month, once or twice a week, you'll never get good. Why do I say it wrong? The key to saying it good is to say it wrong a lot, and you kind of learn. Okay, when I do this, they do that, and that's not good. But when I do this, they do that. Pretty soon they bob, you weave, they zig, you zag. It's like a dance, but you get there through failure. Swing the bat. Your ego is keeping you so broke. It's devastating your family. Your desire to look good. I have slobbered all over this. I have done weird stuff here. I don't care. I'm like Rory. I want to love you. I want to reach right there, man. I want to get you. You got to growl every once in a while. I want you to wake up. This is your life we're talking about. These are your kids. You ever go by a burning house? Oh my gosh, look at that. And somebody goes, oh man, your kids are in there. What? Boom, through the front door. Before you just sit back, I hope no one's in there. No, your kid's in there. What? You dive through the bay window. You kick down the door, go in with the towel or nothing. You go grab your kids. You get burned to get your family. Listen to me. Listen. Your house is on fire. Like you gotta get that radical. And then it gets easy. It's fun. It's a blast when you're all in. Same thing with God. Same thing with your family. Dreams and expectations, start expecting more. Dream bigger. I don't have time to hit that, but I'm going to end with your secret weapon. Your secret weapon. Do you believe in prayer? Do you pray about your work? I said it earlier. Do you work like you pray? What if you really got on your knees and you did the work and you put it before God? Watch what happens. I'd like to do something. Take me 1 minute if I could. Just 1 minute. If you guys would just hang in here with me. If you could all close your eyes. I don't want anyone to look at me. Just close your eyes. I talk a lot about the short game and the long game. What's the short game? Selling 40 homes a year. Selling 140 homes a year. What's the long game? Go sponsor 25 agents. It'll change your life. Who sell real estate, not newbies. That's the long game. But there's a longer game. It's called eternity. It's called you're going to leave the planet someday. We all know that day's going to happen. So if you could, I want everyone to have just a private moment between you and God. I want to ask you today to take a step in faith. You may have never done it, or maybe you did as a kid and it didn't stick. I did as a kid and I knew something was wrong. And I need God in my life. I want to ask you to take a step in faith right here, right now, while every Christian is praying for you. And please, if you're a Christian, pray for this room. And I want to pray while every head is bowed and eyes closed. I want you to have a moment with God and say, God, I don't even know if you're real. Make it an honest prayer. I don't have a clue if you're there. In fact, I really don't think you're there. But what faith is, it's a belief in things not yet seen. And so I'm going to ask you right now, it's worth more than 6 million rand worth of gold, 1,000,000 times more. If you would like to just, between you and God, slip a hand up and say, God, I want to give you a shot. I want to just take a step in faith. If you're out there and you go, in faith, I'm going to invite you into my heart and life. Slip your hand up right now if you want to recommit yourself and you know you need it. There might be 1, 2, 3 who. God bless you, I see your hand. 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 Hand. Oh my gosh, there's like 25 of you, 30 of you just raised your hands. Beautiful. Put them down. So here's the deal. Find a church. Find a pastor. There's a local church here. Church on Main. Pastor's in the back of the room here right now, I think. We're going to help buy them batteries and solar for their church. Kathy and I are going to do that. We're going to get involved with For Africa. But go find a good Bible-believing church. And congratulations, because that little honest prayer, God's going to show up in the next week or 2 or 3, or he won't, but I know he will, because I believe in what just happened. You just received, I'm just telling you, you may not feel it right now, but I'm just telling you, you're going to have peace and joy like you've never known in your life. And if you didn't do it because you're still skeptical, like, I'm not here for that, do it next week by yourself. Drive down and say, okay, God, I don't think you're real, but if you're real, I accept you into my heart. And watch what happens in your marriage, with your kids, with your family. It won't mean everything's perfect and everything's going to go great, but you're going to have joy and peace like you've never seen. So thank you for having us here from America. We love you all. God bless you. Thanks for having us. Stephen, come on back.
Thank you, Brent.